Alright, Apple's September 9th event is literally right around the corner, and the leaks are definitely leaking this year. Usually we get the standard, predictable lineup. Apple gets on stage, shows us a slightly faster chip, maybe even a new camera button, and pretty much calls it a day. But everyone's been saying that Apple is completely shaking things up for 2026, and I couldn't be more excited about it. I feel like in the Selena movie when she's all, me siento muy excited. Okay, so according to the latest supply chain leaks, they are actually delaying the standard base model iPhone 18 until spring 2026. That means this September event is going all in on the heavy hitters, the iPhone 18 Pro models, and the one device we've all been waiting for years, Apple's very first foldable, the iPhone Ultra. Throw in some AirPods that literally have cameras built into them, a redesigned Apple Watch Ultra, and a brand new smart home hub with a 7-inch display, and now we've got a massive event coming up on our hands. So get comfy and let's cut through the fluff to break down exactly what you actually need to care about. First up, of course, we gotta talk about the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max. Apple is keeping the titanium and glass vibe, but they're tweaking the back panel for a much cleaner look. They're actually finally ditching that distinct two-tone look around the MagSafe zone, opting for a seamless frosted treatment. And the color everyone is talking about this year is a heavily rumored deep dark cherry, alongside a soft light blue. It's a bold look, and honestly, I'm here for it. Last year, I ended up getting the deep blue iPhone 17 Pro Max instead of orange, but I think this year I'm gonna go for that unique color of the lineup, so I plan on getting the new dark cherry one myself. But if you look closely at the leaked dummy models, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is actually getting slightly thicker and heavier this year. Why? Because Apple is supposedly packing in a much larger battery and a brand new vapor chamber cooling system to handle sustained performance. We're also hearing the dynamic island is finally shrinking down. They're supposedly hiding Face ID sensors under the display, leaving just a small cutout for the camera. But let's be real, the real reason you upgrade to the Pro models is for the cameras. And this year, it's kind of arguably a massive leap. The main 48 megapixel sensor is reportedly getting a true variable aperture system. A variable aperture means the camera can physically change how much light hits the sensor. In bright sunlight, it can stop down so your footage doesn't blow out. And opposed to that, in a dark room, it can open wide up. Basically, you get real, natural background blur straight from the lens. It isn't just faking it with software that messes up and accidentally blurs out your hair or around your glasses. I shoot almost all of my channel's content on my iPhone, especially when I have to show B-roll of iPhone features I'm demonstrating. I'll use my 17 Pro Max to film the screen of my iPhone Air. So I'm trying to put all of this into perspective here. With a variable aperture on the rear camera of the 18 Pro, your smartphone footage is going to look closer to a dedicated mirrorless camera than ever before. Inside, it's packing the new A20 Pro chip built on TSMC's 2nm process, and that basically translates to an 18% speed boost and 30% better power efficiency. And Apple is also dropping Qualcomm and using their own in-house CT modem. This could unlock true 5G via satellite, meaning you could have usable internet out in the wilderness with 0 cell towers around. The catch though, because there's always a catch, right? You're gonna have to pay for it. Expect the iPhone 18 Pro to start around $1,300 and the Pro Max to jump to around $1,400. But now let's get into the one we've all been waiting for, the iPhone Ultra, Apple's first foldable phone. According to the supply chain, we're looking at a 5.3-inch cover screen on the outside and a massive 7.6-inch inner display that basically turns this thing into a iPad mini. For comparison, I've been playing around with the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra for the past month. That phone is unbelievably thin at 4.1 millimeters when open. Now, Apple's foldable is rumored to come in right around 4.5 millimeters. So obviously that's not as thin as the Z Fold 8 Ultra, but still super sleek regardless. Apple is supposedly putting a massive amount of engineering into the hinge to completely eliminate the display crease. But here's a compromise I personally don't understand. There's gonna be no Face ID on the foldable. Yep, Apple couldn't fit the sensors in without making the inner screen look weird. So they are allegedly building Touch ID directly into the power button on the frame. It's also only gonna have 2 rear cameras, a wide and an ultra wide, dropping the telephoto lens friends entirely at launch to keep the device thin. Now the price? An unexpected starting point north of $2,000, which makes sense because everyone was pretty much rumoring for months now that it was gonna be in the 2000s price point. It is a first generation luxury device, and Apple knows that and will be running with that. Okay, let's talk about the new AirPods now, because this one sounds like straight out of a movie or something. And some people are either going to totally love this, while others will be totally against it. Apple is reportedly dropping the AirPods Ultra and putting tiny infrared cameras into the stems. And it's not what you think. No, you will not be vlogging with your AirPods. These are actually more for Apple's visual intelligence. It's basically giving Siri eyes. So like, for example, on my upcoming trip to Hawaii, if I'm walking down a trail, I can just look at a strange plant, double tap the AirPod stem, and ask Siri, what am I looking at? The infrared sensors map the space, talk to your iPhone, and instantly give you an answer. It sounds crazy, but I've been running the iOS 27 developer beta to test all the new on-device AI features, and it is insanely fast. So with that said, if the AirPods can tap into that seamlessly without making you pull your phone out of your pocket, that is a massive game changer. And I hate using that word to describe tech features, but if this works properly, that would genuinely be a game changer for how we interact with the world around us. Moving over to the wrist, which I just realized I don't even have my Apple Watch on right now. What's going on? So we're expecting the Apple Watch Series 12 and the Apple Watch Ultra 3. Don't expect massive design overhauls here. The Series 12 is reportedly bringing back a stunning ceramic finish option, while the Ultra 3 is keeping that same mold titanium look. The big story here is actually under the hood. We are expecting a major leap in processor architecture to run Siri entirely on device, completely instantly, without needing a data connection to ping a server. And finally, Apple is actually remembering the smart home exists. They're reportedly launching a brand new device category called the Home Hub or HomePad. It features a 7-inch square display, roughly the size of 2 iPhones side by side, that you can mount on your wall or snap onto a speaker dock. It runs a brand new operating system called Home OS and acts as the central brain for your entire house. Alongside that, we're expecting a refreshed Apple TV 4K packed with an A17 Pro chip to bring console quality gaming directly to your living room. So yeah, if you zoom out for a second, September 9th is not just another minor spec bump year. This year, we're talking foldables, AI hardware, completely new smart home categories, and camera tech that legitimately challenges entry-level professional gear. But as always, I want to hear your guys' opinions on this too. Specifically, like, what do you guys think of Apple dropping the base iPhone 18 to focus completely on the Ultra? Will you be saving up $2,000 for the foldable or sticking with the 18 Pro? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the second Apple makes this stuff official, I'm getting my hands on all of it to test it all out. And I plan on going hard with Apple content for the rest of this year. So definitely subscribe to see what I pump out. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.